friend Mandy Jones. They'll be talking, laughing, shouting, and shaking their fists. Bonnie and Mandy. Make sure you're always watching, or you could miss it if they ever kiss. Those two wildflowers did what they had to do, and now they're free. And it's gonna be as wide as it can be, with no apology. 7:30 Wednesday night, they're on the air, Wildflowers. And you know you'll love the show on Facebook Live, Wildflowers. Bonnie Scalisi and Mandy Jones, Wildflowers.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're looking live at the Wildflowers. I'm Mandy Jones, and as always, next to me is the beautiful
Bonnie Scalisi. How are you, everyone? Thanks for tuning in on St. Patrick's Day. I know a lot of you are probably out drinking, so if you're, you're watching us, we're extra grateful.
And you can just drink at the bar with
Yeah,
your
drink
phone.
now.
You're actually looking at your phone anyways if you found us. Share the show, please share the show. And this isn't just the Paddy's Day episode. Bonnie's birthday is Pie Day, 3-4-1-4.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
So this is Bonnie's birthday celebration episode as well.
Yay! That's nice.
Bonnie, I had to give up. I had to look it up because I did it on my birthday. On my birthday, a couple of other people that share your birthday. I didn't know Albert Einstein.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a big
Einstein.
difference between me and Albert Einstein.
Maybe there's a little coincidence there. And then the other one, Stephen Curry. Do you know who that is?
No. Who's that?
He's a famous basketball player.
Okay.
And then the other one, who else do we have? Oh, Billy Crystal.
Really?
Yeah. So
I thought
comedian.
Oprah had.
Oh, it did not. I can't even speak tonight. It did not say Oprah on the list, but she could be on there. I'd have to Google it. And last but very not least, Taylor Hanson, the hottest and oldest Hanson brother, and he still looks good.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
You don't know the Hansons?
No.
You know it. You'd know it if you heard it. That's like the song, the only song. Bonnie, you want to tell them who's tuning in?
Oh yeah. So thank you for the people who are already tuning in and wishing me a happy birthday and happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. Joan Krupe Asher, how are you? Deborah Say Grady.
Yeah, Grandma Grady.
Bruno, he said good evening, happy St. Patrick's Day. Bill Hansen, how are you? Saying hi to us. David Lange, saying hi to us. Patty Marie, I love Patty. Adam Snare, how are you doing, Adam Snare? Nancy Weems, nice to see you, Nancy. And of course, my other birthday pal, Robin DeVito. And she shares the last name of our guest, so we're going to introduce in a minute. See, your mom, Mary Underhill, is watching. Jim Raya, how you doing? Jim wants to know if you have any Irish in you. I think you do.
Me? I'm 75%.
So a lot.
A lot.
Nevin Cummings, how are you? And my boyfriend, Michael Steven Spielberg, Cedric Hooks, and everybody saying happy birthday and happy St. Patrick's Day. So I wanted to talk a little bit quickly about my birthday because I want to get into the guests. We have an amazing guest.
Tell me what you were doing on your birthday.
On my birthday, my boyfriend took me to a beautiful restaurant. I always forget the name of the restaurant. Walls Wharf in Bayville. And it was on the water. It was beautiful. And he got me this sweatshirt, which has a lot of symbolism behind it. It's not political, okay? The sweatshirt comes from Better Call Saul. It's significant to me.
Okay.
The reason it's significant, the name of the sweatshirt is the University of American Samoa Law. Both shows, Better Call Saul, which I watched first, and now I'm watching Breaking Bad. I'm only on season 1, so no spoiler alerts. Both of these shows I identify with because both of the shows are about people who have always done the right thing and get screwed in life by society and circumstances, and they're forced to evolve into something that they never thought they would become. and I love both series. I'm into Breaking Bad right now, but I love it so far.
Wait,
It shows both the good and the evil in all of us.
Yeah.
And so I love the sweatshirt. Mandy gave me something, but I don't know what she did with it. She gave me a pair of underwear that had something really funny written on it, but she hid it because she didn't want me to share it on the show.
I didn't want you to get embarrassed, so I was like, I'll just make sure that but you could say, you want me to tell them what they said?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think they, if I'm not mistaken, I learned, the only way I learned is by spanking me, by getting spanked.
Yeah, like I need to be spanked.
The only way I learned is by getting spanked, and they're like the cute ones that really like go up your butt.
She knows I don't like the thong ones, so thank you, Mandy. I love it.
I know she doesn't like the thong ones.
And Graz, how are you? Graz from Limo Talk is watching.
Hey.
So did you want to talk about anything before we get to our guest?
Everybody just share the show.
Yeah, could everyone please share the show?
And start thinking about your stories. And Bonnie, let's hit it.
Okay. Our guest has a special online, and it's gotten over 5 million views. And he's a regular on late night TV, the very funny Joe DeVito. And he's one of my personal favorites.
Please,
I love him.
Thank you, ladies.
Ew.
Thank you.
I wanted to start because I'm like, we're cracking up too much. Stop. We're gonna get through all the material. Thank you for coming, Joe.
Glad to be here. It's nice. You two acted like you weren't expecting me when I came in.
We're very nonchalant. It's funny because we've had people tell us like, oh, I'm not usually nervous about this sort of thing, and then they get here and they're like, can I smoke a cigarette? Because I'm like, it's fucking get ready to do a podcast, but it's like taking over. No, but you had said you were going to be a couple minutes late, and we're like, it's Wayne's World, everybody else just lives in it.
Yeah, that's great.
It's seriously, like
we're not stuck in a slot.
Don't get into a car accident driving here, fucking 100 miles an hour to be here on fucking time. Everyone
Perfect.
showed up.
Yes, thank you everybody for tuning in. Like Mandy said, please share the show. And our topic is celebrations. So one of the things that I have to say about Joe is, because I did take some lessons from Joe, and he wants everything to be succinct. So if you have a story about a celebration, don't write in like 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Make it very, get to the point and tell us your story in 3 sentences or less.
Yeah, I have no patience for that shit. Word economy.
Yes,
word economy.
Like you dole out those words very sparingly. Yeah. Oh, Jim Ray wants to celebrate his divorce. It's interesting that you talk about that because that's one of the things I have on my list is that eventually if the divorce is ever final, I will have a divorce party. And Jim, you will be invited. So what do you think of that? He got divorced quicker than me, and he started like 6 months ago.
Is this not the handwriting of the Unabomber?
Yeah, honestly,
your handwriting's worse than mine. At least I can read my handwriting.
Weren't you a teacher for 1,000 years?
I when I write on the board, it's perfect. But when I write for myself, yes, when I write for
the medium.
No, not chalk.
Yeah, you should see me with chalk.
It gravitated to the dry whiteboard. The dry whiteboard. You with the dry whiteboard. You're a mess.
I cannot. Well, first of all, I'm a lefty. So you just erase as you write. And I have sensory issues. I don't like chalk. First of all, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Just chalk.
That does make sense.
It's disgusting. I don't really like whiteboard, like the squeakiness. And I also just
you would have died with the nails on the chalkboard back in the day.
Yeah, no, I'm not good with that. Even just a dusty eraser, just the thought of it. Gross. But let's get back to celebrations.
Yeah.
What's the worst party you've ever been to, Joe?
Oh my God.
Or the worst event, worst segment of a party. Worst scene at a party you've seen.
I actually
know you can talk about.
Know an answer. I know one of the answers you're going to tell.
Really?
We'll let you say one.
I guess we're going to open things up to the floor. Bonnie,
No, it's a story you told about a surprise party you got when you were a boy, but you told it a long time ago, so you could tell the listeners.
A surprise party.
A surprise party your parents threw for you when you were a kid, and you told it on our show.
I think that would probably be my 16th birthday.
Correct.
Yeah. And my friend Gary convinced my parents to have a 16th birthday party for me, because he wanted to have girls over to try and get laid.
Nice.
And
Gary.
How generous of him.
I know. So he was using me as a Trojan horse to maybe use some Trojans on my parents' couch. And of course, his plan failed. But I remember my parents saying like, no. And the party sucked. And then everybody was like, well, we're out of here. And then we went to some other party. And then when I went to this other party, everyone I talked to said to me, yeah, we heard you had a shitty party at your house.
Oh, no.
And I thought, I'm like a bystander for this. And it was really annoying, too, because my birthday's in December.
Yes.
And it was during wrestling season, so I couldn't even eat for my birthday.
Oh.
So I was starving myself. I accidentally hosted a shitty party, and then I had to hear about it for the rest of the night.
That's a pretty bad
it was
party.
bad. It was bad. As a total victim of circumstance. Thanks for bringing it up on me. I was for a minute there. I couldn't think, but you.
Thanks a lot, Gary.
Yeah.
No, but in your own brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone that you want to think
Anything
of
else
that
you
I
can
haven't.
add? Any other party fouls?
Bad parties. It's very interesting. I always felt like there's too much pressure put on parties, which is why
Yes.
I hated New Year's Eve, and when I became a
That's what
full-time
you hear on
comic-
St. Patrick's Day.
And here in St.
There you go.
To me, this is like it combines so many things I don't like. It combines drinking. It combines parades, which I hate. It combines
He
not
said
crazy
marching
about
and for
green,
the-
marching. I don't want to march for any
Nobody wants to
reason.
march.
And horrible food.
Well, the parade in 2020 died, so you can be happy about that, Joe.
That's one benefit.
Yeah, that's
nobody's
true.
already. Remember,
That
everyone used to
parade
be
was
like,
going on for hundreds of years.
"We're not representing the St. Patrick's Day parade."
Yeah, that's what I really hate
I
about
would've
this
been
year,
thrilled.
You know, people died in 2020, and you know what? My
You
people
got-
had to give up
Yeah.
the fucking parade.
Yeah.
She's Irish. If you ever wonder why she say "my people." Hey, Tammy Welter is tuning in. Hi, Tammy. How are you? Robin DeVito wants to know, like, maybe you're related by some kind of uncle or something. There must be like a million DeVitos,
There's a lot of
right?
DeVitos. We are out of the Bronx, and from Italy, we're from a town called Bari.
Oh,
So I don't know if that helps
So-
Valerie.
does that help?
So,
Does that help,
That
Robin?
helps you
Maybe-
triangulate that Italian.
Yeah, Robin. Maybe he's your long lost like
Could be.
brother or something.
There was someone who kept going to. There's a Wikipedia page for me. I know because I made it, but someone keeps going there. I should act like some crazed fan, but someone keeps going to the page that I set
It's
up.
not me.
It's not me, but it is me.
Because you obviously have to
Set it up. Because I thought, it's
I'm
been there for a
gonna
while.
go up on Wikipedia tomorrow.
Well, someone keeps going
I don't
into
even-
it and keeps adding that I'm Danny DeVito's son, and then every
Oh,
now and
I
then-
saw that.
But then I take it down, and I can only imagine this person's like, who's this idiot who keeps It's like me. It's me. I know whose son I am.
Yeah,
They're like fucking
Yeah.
fact checkers coming through and
Yeah,
like
it's fake news. Fake news.
that podcast that I saw you on,
Mhm.
they said, do people ask if you're related to Danny DeVito? And you're like, horribly all the time.
Yeah,
All the time.
When someone asks me that, I can tell this is a person who doesn't have a lot of thoughts. Because if you had
Uh-oh.
several thoughts, you would think like, oh, all right, you wouldn't have to. It's like they're compelled to blurt it out. Sometimes they'll even say, I have to ask. And the truth is, well, you really didn't. You were not compelled. The power of Christ did not compel you to ask.
It's like saying, I hate to tell you this, but you don't hate to tell me this.
Yeah,
'Cause
you probably-
you're gonna love it.
You probably couldn't wait, as a matter of fact.
Patty Marie is saying it wasn't her. Patty, no one thinks it was you. We all know that that you.
You know the
didn't do that.
expression, I hate to eat and run? I never say it. It's my favorite thing to do, is to get a meal and then get the fuck out. So I would never say I hate to eat and
seriously.
run.
You do an Irish goodbye. You just
Yeah.
That's like
disappear.
it's an Italian goodbye.
There's
Yeah.
the Irish for you. Yeah, because you can't get out of an Italian place without kissing
Yeah.
everybody. on
No,
the
no,
lips.
no.
And your meal takes several hours. That shows
Yeah,
you
you're
the,
making the meal from scratch.
they are. The Irish goodbye, that's perfect because it shows like if there's any group of people with more of a fear of intimacy, the Irish. Like they can't even say goodbye. They're too vulnerable.
Honestly,
I hate saying goodbye. I like to do the
Yeah.
Irish goodbye at a party. I like
Yeah.
to just eat the food, stay a little while, and then slip
Get
out.
the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Why?
my family.
Because like I don't. I hate to say this, but I just don't like people touching me to say
Really?
goodbye. Like you have
Oh.
to. So this whole
I was gonna say that
this whole
Corona's been
Corona
good for
stuff
you.
is good for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a hugger, and you know, I'm just I just am very uncomfortable. Yeah, man, but I'm stiff as a board when you do.
Yeah.
That's why I have to be liquored up. So
Yeah.
Michael, I'm just sipping this. He's like you know.
Does Mandy?
He saw that I'm
Does
drinking real.
Oh no.
I'm not really drinking it. I'm
It
just.
was just wine in the beginning.
Yeah, it was started with wine, and I'm just gonna have a couple of sips.
Is this what gets you in the mood from when Mandy starts getting handsy?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
that's right. I have to be in the mood.
She starts to Cuomo out.
That's right.
The
Cuomo sexual harassment.
The Cuomo. I'm going to out her. I'm going to Me Too her and say, you know,
Yeah.
Mandy Jones has been inappropriate with me for over
Since the
5
start.
months now.
Since the
Maybe
start.
since I'll put from the start.
Since podcast 1. And then people are going to say,
there
but
was definitely stuff at Gums that went
Of
down.
course.
Oh, there was.
my workplace.
There was.
Yeah. But then people will say, but what about all those old people she killed? And they'll say, no. We want to hear about the sexual
Right. No
harassment.
matter what,
Yeah.
it's a diversion.
Yeah.
So Adam Snare is saying that he's a friend of ours. He said he met and saw Joe in the green room a few months ago at Huntington Paramount and got to see him perform as well. Great guy, hilarious comic.
Oh,
He
thank you, Adam.
is. If you have not seen him do stand up, you
Yeah,
are
look him up
missing
after this.
out.
Look him up after this. So many funny clips,
and
all
he-
available free.
Yes, at Dry Bar Comedy, and he's go on YouTube, and he has a very interesting thing he told us that I think you want to tell everybody about.
I like how we're doing the pre-show prep during the actual show.
Yeah.
About the Greg,
what is this interesting thing that I want to tell?
the Greg
Oh.
Gutfield show.
Well, I'm a regular on the Greg Gutfeld show on Fox News, the hit late night show, and they just announced that it's going to 5 nights a week. And
Which
I've
I
been
knew.
Offered a position as a writer and regular guest on it.
Congratulations.
That
filling
is
out the
freaking
paperwork.
awesome. And
Pretty
I watched
excited.
that show even when you're not on it.
I can't
Or
wave it in
whatever.
your
Wave it.
direction. Throw holy water on it.
Cheers.
It'll burn.
That's a great show.
That's awesome. So writing comedy, that's awesome because you can be more than one person. Like stand up, you go up there and you got to be yourself. It's raw. But writing comedy, you kind of be like, oh, you can get to be a different character.
It's going to be interesting because I know people who've written for Letterman and Conan, and if you notice, those guys have their writers, and they had them for years because that writer knows how to write jokes in their voice.
Right.
And they know that is. I mean, I know Brian Kiley's been the head writer for Conan for I think like 20 years because he knows the kinds of jokes that they're not just funny, but they make sense coming out of him.
Yeah.
And isn't it interesting that, you know, Greg Gutfield is great as he is, but yet these late night talk show hosts, they don't write all their own material. They hire writers to write for them, and they pay good money because they're getting brilliant minds to write their things for them. But people watching the show think they make it up.
Yeah. And well, Greg writes his own monologue.
Does he?
Yeah, Greg's really good with that. The thing is, it's going to be 5 nights a week, and he's still going to do the 5. So it's a lot of talking to do. But I think
That's a lot.
They're going to be using me for. I'm not exactly sure, to tell you the truth.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
We're getting
and
people
for
coffee, Joe.
sketches and
Mandy.
gonna be
I'm being an
going to be
asshole.
like an office manager.
No,
You're
he's
the
going to be
coffee
high up.
boy.
The next person I'm going to talk about, we were just talking about you right before the show started, Taz, the residential artist.
Oh, who we bow
Taz.
We
down
love Taz.
to.
She said, she has a question for you.
Yes.
Is Mr. DeVito going to be on Gutfield's new show, aka Red Eye Part 2, the sequel?
And what's nice is it's going to increase my time on the show as a guest too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So instead of, I think I've been doing it about once a month or every other month.
And then there was always some kind of catastrophe that would happen, and it would be taken off the air.
I probably did 3 or 4 episodes that got bumped. I mean, they are the news channel, so.
I was,
you know, and that's
we
the
were like,
worst
oh
part.
no, not again.
You know, whenever there's like a tragedy or some sort of act of terrorism, they're not really thinking about how it affects me. I think that's very rude.
I know.
Yeah.
Trying
It's
to
like,
get some more
couldn't they have
states
killed that person tomorrow?
Come on.
Or couldn't have that monsoon happened like a day later? Come
very
on.
It's a really
inconsiderate.
good skit.
Yeah.
So,
We only had so much
Stuart Brenner, how are you? Stuart Brenner is tuning in. and saying hi. And he said of all the times not to have cable. Yeah, you got to get cable so you could watch him. Jan Brenner is actually moving to Las Vegas, so we wish you the best of luck.
Oh, Jan, I didn't know that about you. I got to see you before you go, before you part.
And he said he's actually half native and half Italian. He is Sicilian. Okay, that's funny. Everybody's congratulating you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
And it's a big accomplishment. So Taz is saying April 5th, baby? Is that
April
when it starts?
5th is the show's debut. I have to, well, it's all pending. They have to do a review of my social media as part of the hiring process.
No freaking way. I'd be dead in the water.
You can delete this?
This, I've never been here. I don't know who either of you are. Well, you know, I went and set my Facebook posts to friends, can only see them, not the public. But I've been gradually going through and deleting old tweets for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
making
because
sure cleaning up your act.
Well, mostly
Literally and figuratively.
Because you don't want to get.
What do you think that they would think is like considered bad?
Here's the thing. I have to believe that the bar is set so low for comedians as to what's considered appropriate or inappropriate. It's not
I
like
would think so
going
too.
for like vice president of media relations.
But it's still a job interview, and they're
It's
still
still a
giving
job,
you real money, U.S. dollars.
Yeah. So you have to. But you know, I was told that was a good idea to, not just as a cover your ass thing, but one of the things I noticed is as I went back, I've gotten better at social media posts. So I look at some of my jokes. You know, Facebook sends you the memories thing.
Yeah.
And I'll see jokes from 10 years ago, and I think
I that garbage?
Yeah, like I don't even know what that means. A lot of times it's jokes about current events where I don't mention the event, and I think, what happened then? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
But sometimes you're right on, and you're like, I called this.
Wasn't timeless.
Oh, I keep reposting those.
Yeah,
ones
I love
where
those.
I've got jokes about things that for better for worse, have just turned out to be true. Joe Stradamus is what I call that when that
Joe
happens.
Stradamus. Yeah. So, what time will the show be on, or you don't know yet?
It's going to be 11 p.m. right up against all the other.
That's perfect for me.
Yeah.
I'm a late night person, so so every night from Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. on Fox News. That is so freaking cool.
It's going to be good.
Esther Forrester is telling us she celebrates the end of Zoom meetings that I sadly initiated and then they went awry. Also celebrating getting both doses by living my life, my same fearful life. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the celebrations.
So I went to a party one time and the mom didn't know that you didn't have to put that the piñata didn't come with candy inside it. So we beat the hell out of a piñata that had no candy in it.
That's funny.
Yeah. That'll prepare
How old were you?
We were about 8.
I would be pissed.
What a metaphor for growing up.
Yeah,
that's
you
the
can beat the
perfect
hell out of
metaphor.
something and it might not
Nothing.
even be magic inside.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing. You beat the hell out of something. You don't.
That's a
it's
lesson for
actually
you.
a bad thing to teach kids. If you beat something up, that candy comes out of it, right?
It's teaching savagery. It is a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
Beat the crap out of something to get the candy. I mean, and the fact that yours was empty.
And it's also luck of the draw because, like, the guy behind you could have beat the hell out of it, and then a little kid goes up and gives it that nice little knock.
But you know what they do now? Because everybody has to get a trophy and everything else. They beat the piñata, and everybody's only allowed to pick up 3 pieces of candy. So it's all even. Instead of like being a football player. Correct. I mean, that's how things have gotten.
Your bony bits. That's the good shit in life.
Oh shoot, we're supposed to do our sponsors.
But we started a little late.
Oh, that's right. We started a little late.
But we could do that. We can jump into sponsor land and then we'll get back into.
We have like a couple of minutes.
So stay tuned, real quick, guys. Keep telling us best, worst.
Nobody has told us about any celebrations.
Because Bonnie's gonna read them after.
Adam's saying he's a rugby player. How is that a celebration?
Oh,
stick to the topic.
I've got being a rugby player. You do a drink up. You both teams get together.
It's a celebration
and celebrate after. Have a party. No matter.
See,
who
I
won.
wouldn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's when I went to Ireland with a rugby team. I was the rugby manager. And it was funny because it was on St. Paddy's Day in Dublin, and we're talking to these kids. We're like, yeah, we just came, we're here, from New York, and they're like, that's the party. That's the biggest party in the world for Paddy's Day. And we're like, we just spent.
Yeah, I heard it's not a big thing over there.
It's like, the whole thing is like the kids start drinking. It's the legal age to drink is 18, so kids start drinking when you're like 15. So by the time you're like 25, you're like, a 40-year-old man who's just like, I don't want to go out anymore, already like, we just start the people too late here because when the drinking age is 21, that means you're more like 18 drinking.
Yeah.
I think that was the plan.
And then like 30, you're still like a complete idiot living in your mom's basement. Whereas there, it just, I don't know what the kids were really doing. I mean, I was also there in 2008, so I'm talking about kids in America's basements now.
Yeah.
I don't know about what they're doing I guess they would call it a cellar there in Dublin.
You're asking me? I don't know. But
I was there. I don't know.
But
Bonnie.
we had.
Bonnie, you're an expert on Irish real estate. What do they call that there?
That's right.
We were talking about.
I wing it.
Bonnie's Gaelic Gaelic's her second language. We were talking about that before the show
No, but
started.
we do have that in common. I was the manager of the men's soccer team in college, and you were the manager of the rugby team.
Yeah, that's right. That's why
And we
shit.
both have autistic brothers. We have a lot in common, Mandy and I.
both do
Yeah,
the show
Adam's
everyone.
saying by the time they're 25, they're recovering alcohol.
Yeah, they're in A. They've been in AA.
Yeah, no, they're onto harder drugs. It's
So,
bad.
so do you have any other celebrations that you want to talk about?
Well, I just want to. What was Esther celebrating? Did she say she's been
Some
vaccinated?
parties that she starts.
I think she wants to be vaccinated so that she doesn't have to be afraid when she goes out anymore.
Oh.
I think, Esther, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think that's what you meant,
Was the gist of it.
but I could be wrong.
I thought she was going to be here tonight.
Why?
I don't know why I thought that.
Wait, Esther is usually everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Esther and I go to open mics together. Esther and I hang out
I'm
together.
disappointed. I put on cologne.
Very nice, very nice.
So now we know.
So, if you guys don't have a story, I'll tell you a story.
Well, we do have to do the sponsors first, Bonnie.
All right, all right. You want to go first?
Yeah.
By the way, Keith Fitz is watching. He's one of our sponsors. So,
Oh, I don't have my thing in front of me.
all right. So I'll start.
Yeah, there you go.
So our friend Keith Fitz owns a company called Keys Loves Jewelry, stainless steel jewelry, all nickel and tarnish free. And you can buy knives, swords, and self-defense equipment, excellent quality for reasonable prices. His stuff is not only, it's cool looking. It's not just good for killing people. No. It's not just for self-defense.
Decorative.
It's really decorative. So you could shop online at keylovesjewelries.com, keyscutlery.com, or you could go in person to Lala's Flea Market, 1075 Portion Road in Farmingdale, New York, and see him and his beautiful wife, Teresa, and buy your things in person. And if you want to call them, 631-379-1781.
And we just want to remind you guys that our sponsors, when we say crazy and silly stuff on
Like
this
what I just
show-
did, I just fucked up.
No, not at all. It just always reminds me because I'm going to probably say something out of line on mine. That anything that we say, our beliefs and expressions on the show do not reflect the beliefs and expressions of our very kind sponsors. So thank you, Key Love and Keys Jewelry and Keys Cutlery. And then we also have the Ambient Salon in Hewlett. They are a full-service hair, skin, and nail salon. They are part of a Mondays of Racine Salon. They offer free salon spa services and wigs to anyone currently battling cancer. So if you know anybody currently battling cancer, one Monday every month they do a giveaway where you go in and you can get free salon, spa services, and free wigs. So if you know anyone battling cancer on Long Island, please mention this ad to them. You can do online booking for the salon at theambientsalon.com. Please give them a follow on Instagram and on Facebook at The Ambient Salon. The Ambient Salon, 1344 Broadway in Hewlett, New York. 516-295-4011. And do not forget to tell them that Bonnie and Mandy from the Wildflowers sent you. And Larry, Art, and his wife will be guests on our show. Is it next week or the following? I don't have the
You're in charge of that. I don't know.
I don't have it in front of me like an ass, but they will be on this month. So stay tuned because they are great people. So thank you guys to Key Fitz and his wife and Larry and his wife for sponsoring this wacky show. Now, everybody, back to
Joe DeVito. And last
week.
week's guest, Joe Curry, is tuning in.
I noticed
Hi,
Joe.
Joe.
Hello,
Joe and
Curry.
I met just by random at a mic on Friday, and we were talking for Esther. speaking of Esther, she stood me up because she told me she was going to meet me at that mic, and she didn't show up. So Joe and I just ended up talking like basically till the bar closed, and he had been on our show the Wednesday before. So Joe Curry is a fantastic person. And we had a great time with him. So do you have a story, or do you want me to go?
A celebration story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't really think of. I'm thinking of things that I've celebrated, things that I'm looking forward to celebrating.
Okay.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think this summer is going to initiate kind of like the way the Roaring '20s followed prohibition or pre-prohibition rather, or after World War I and this Spanish flu and people went nuts. I think there's going to be a lot of partying. I think there's going to be things we look back now and say like, geez, just going to a restaurant, we didn't appreciate that enough.
Yes.
So
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of sex. People are going to be going.
And stand-up comedy is going to come back.
Stand-up comedy is going to come back. I'm
100%.
I'm looking forward to even
because I remember when you were like really down and you're like, it's not going to come back. It's dead, and it's not. I think it's going to double. I think people need to laugh more than ever now.
Yeah, and it's the easiest form of entertainment to bring back. Because you don't need much.
Right. A band, you need 5 guys who've practiced.
You need, yeah.
They all need to afford equipment. You need to have lighting. You need to, because we can have shitty sound and the voice.
You can work around it,
can work around it, but like, you could be a good band and like it be in a shitty bar, like a bar that has shitty acoustics, and it can totally ruin the experience.
Yeah.
Like, live music is like a total fucking art. Or like putting on a play. Fucking costumes, so much rehearsing before anyone even sees the
and no
thing.
matter how many people are in the audience for a Broadway show, everything that's happening on the stage and behind it, you can't skimp on any of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So if there's 5 people in the audience or 5,000,
that's true.
It still requires the same.
Right.
Yeah, and I noticed it this past summer where I did a bunch of these outdoor shows in parks. I did some shows in Central Park and in Brooklyn. And some of them, it made me laugh. They're like, you can use a microphone, and they have this little PA that's this big. And so just doing them without even a mic, and it made me realize, oh yeah, I really love doing this.
Yeah, it's an easy art. It's an art.
It's kind of like, it reminds me of London, of Trafalgar Square. Am I saying that right?
Oh, okay.
Like you would get up, soapboxes, and you say your piece, and people start crowding around you.
And people were so eager.
Yeah, because people want to hear. People want to laugh.
For entertainment. So
they are.
It reminded me that, because I've been doing this for a long time. Actually, this summer it's going to be 20 years I've been doing stand-up.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Well, you're getting paid for it, dude.
Yeah, it's just I think up until the pandemic, I didn't realize it, but I was starting to feel like too much of my time in stand-up was thinking about the bullshit. The commutes, the road traveling, the hotel rooms.
Focusing on the negative.
Yeah, and then when you're on stage, it's like a moment. It passes too quick. So I think that is something that I was very lucky that I was able to learn that lesson. And, I think gratitude's got to be a big thing going forward, that if you come out of this relatively unscathed, you better realize how good you can have it.
Right.
And how fragile life is.
It could all be gone.
It could all be gone tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to just enjoy life and the moments that come and not be upset about bullshit.
It puts things in perspective.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That was what I was trying to say. So I'm going to tell about this thing. All right. First of all, I don't remember any of my childhood birthdays, which is really kind of scary. I don't remember. I know I must have had some, but I don't remember any of them. I blocked them out for some reason. My first marriage, when I was this girl that used to be my best friend, we've parted ways. She threw me an engagement party, and there was this long sub, like a sandwich.
Yeah.
And we all ate. It was actually it was just women it was an engagement party. It was just women there.
Okay.
Was maybe
Is
the
it a bridal shower?
part?
Or maybe it was a bridal shower.
Yeah.
And I guess something was wrong with the sub, and we all got food poisoning.
Oh no.
And I know you know about that.
It's like, well, because
that was the first time we ever had our first comedy lesson. Is you had food poisoning, and you showed up at the Starbucks and you looked green, and you're like, and you looked very disturbed. And I thought, like, did I do something wrong or whatever? And turns out you had food poisoning. So I know you.
I had it again a couple weeks ago. I have to start eating. I eat like a raccoon.
What's your dumpster diving?
A little bit.
Yeah. So
you
that
are living on the edge after COVID.
Added to the reasons why I need a woman in my life to say, hey, maybe that thing from the back of the refrigerator is no longer edible. That's fine.
That's me. I would eat the thing from the back of the refrigerator.
So you all got food poisoning from a bad
Everyone
sandwich?
got food poisoning from the bad sandwich. And I got, I have a very good stomach. So even though I was sick, I was least sick of most of the people. But it was not a good omen, and I should have taken that as like an omen of things not to do. Now, do you have one, Mandy?
That's great celebration story.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
I have a lot like that.
My sister had us throw her a surprise party. Me and her best friend were the only people that knew that she knew, and so my sister's 4 years older than me. So she would take me out when she was older. She was turning 22, I believe. So I was old enough to, like I said, Americans allowed to drink, 17. I was drinking whatever party. So she calls her friend and who's hosting the surprise party because she can't have it at her own house because it's a surprise, obviously. And so she calls him and she's like, "Oh, and make sure that everyone parks around the corner because I really want to be surprised." And she literally I went around the corner and we turned the lights on when she walked in and she was all done up and she was like, "Oh my God, you guys, I can't believe it." And all her friends really thought it was a surprise. Some of you guys might be watching. I friended literally everybody from my high school. So that was
They're all going to, the jig is up.
Janelle hosted that party. She put that together.
Well, Esther Forrester says, I left the party because I saw the cops and missed out on hooking up. I think she meant hooking up, but she wrote booking up. Booking up with this guy I totally wanted badly. Taz says, Bonnie, we had food poisoning from the pals' graduation party. First time I puked up bile and felt pleasant after that. See, these things are, when you're truthful, it brings out the memories of other people. Paddy said the first time I witnessed at Jones Beach Theater, everybody got food poisoning. And my boyfriend's saying too much information. Too bad.
Not even. We're just scratching the surface.
I'm just starting. So now it's your turn.
Let's talk about food poisoning a little bit. It was the day after the Super Bowl this year, and it was like I woke up and I felt a little funky. And if you've ever had food poisoning, there's a moment where you feel shitty, and then you realize, this is going to be a full day. And it's pretty amazing how your body can decide, everybody out. Everybody out of the pool.
That's right.
And but you know what? I kind of liked the next day when I was in front of the mirror, like, look at that flat stomach.
It's a great diet.
Yeah.
9 pounds gone like that.
We recommend food poisoning.
It's good.
If you want to lose 10 pounds, which I do. So maybe I'll eat something from the back of the refrigerator tonight.
You know what I did? I blamed it on the healthy stuff. I was like, I thought that broccoli was
of course.
It was like some other garbage that I ate, but I was like,
the broccoli. The broccoli's to blame.
That kale. I think that kale turned.
That piece of fiber did me in.
Fruit does go bad quickly.
Yeah.
You pay a lot of money for it, and then
that's why I stir fry everything because it's just it gets in there. You don't taste it. Just throw garlic on it. No, none's the wiser. Says the Irish lady.
All right, so I have one. I don't remember my own, but my daughter turned 16, and we don't get to travel or do anything. So I wanted to do something really special for her sweet 16. So I hired a party planner, and I had a real party, like a wedding, at the Crest Hollow Country Club.
Oh.
And it was really beautiful. And the reason I did that was she got this white dress. She looked like a bride. And a lot of women, and this has to do with Mandy in a way, they get married because they want the party.
They want the wedding.
They want the wedding and all the shit that goes with it. So I figure if I give her that as a 16-year-old, then she won't have that desire to get married for the party.
Yeah.
And it was a great event. So there's nothing bad I can write about it. That was like.
Did you poison the sandwich at that one?
No, but I have this thing with food, wasting food, and they had all these fantastic, beautiful layouts of food for the first part of the party. And I was like, can I take some of this home? Because I was so nervous I couldn't eat. And they're like, no, it's part of the health code that once this is over, all the food has to go in the garbage. And I paid for it, but and I'm like, I was thinking like, wow, I'll be able to bring all this food home and then eat it when I want. But that's not how it works in the health department.
You got to smuggle in Tupperware.
Oh yeah, I should have done that. It's low class,
but I've done it.
I should have done that.
I've done it on these smart. Gigs. I used to do so many of those private gigs. I mean, when you said Crest Hollow, I've probably done a dozen.
I love it there. That's my favorite
food's
place.
Good, But I remember the manager I had at the time. I would always say to him, "Am I getting fed at this gig?" And he would say, "You're the only one."
You have to pay.
I'm not the only one.
You're not.
I said, if I'm driving to some place, I say, I want a goddamn chicken cutlet waiting for me. I don't want to. We were not prepared to cook for 381 people.
Absolutely. They charge you for, like, if you have a band, they charge you for each person's meal in addition to whatever you're doing.
Have you ever overeaten one of those things just to prove a point?
I would have, but I was so nervous because it was my daughter's day. I didn't want everything that I was so I didn't really eat at all, which really fucked me. I was so angry. I paid all that money and I barely ate like an appetizer. So Adam Snare says, ZQL now, they took the sleepy out of NyQuil. What does that mean, Adam? Is that a celebration thing?
Was he workshopping?
Give him the bell.
Just messaging premises to us now?
Yeah, maybe it's he said, did you kill what? Obviously. Maybe I might be missing something.
They're having their own conversation.
Yeah, that's all right.
Nancy Weems had food poisoning. Okay. I think everybody has had food poisoning at one time or another.
Oh, we actually were talking about, just yesterday, Glenn brought this up because I did not remember this. This was probably about 6 years ago. Glenn was deathly ill. He was really bad flu, like just so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so throwing up to all hours of the night. And then he had to be in the Bronx the next day for work, and he had to leave like at 5 a.m. and he had literally stopped throwing up and maybe had 45 minutes of sleep and he's like, I'm gonna go in whatever and he's trying to get ready for work, and my husband, he's a man, he's stubborn as fuck. I love the shit out of him, but he's stubborn, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna shit your pants driving to the Bronx, and I'm not gonna. Don't call me about it. I'm not going to clean the shit up because if you throw up here, I'll help you throw up. And you go back to the bed and I'll change the bucket. You shit your pants on the way to fucking Bronx. And he actually told me that the other day. He said that he repeated that at work. He said that yesterday. He's like, yeah, you told me that. And he said, that's when he said, when you said that to me, I knew that I had to stay. Because he was just like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to muscle through it. It's like,
can't.
But the thing now with COVID is now you're actually sick. It's like, okay, you should stay home. You really shouldn't be spreading your nasty, disgusting germs.
That was our society was like, no matter how sick you are, you went to work.
Yeah, you drank your shitty
you
ass
just
in.
go in. No matter what, and now you do the opposite.
It's smart. Well, when I was a kid, we weren't allowed to be sick.
Oh yeah,
we weren't
your
allowed
mother
to stay
wanted
home.
to get rid of you so she could have the day to herself.
Yeah, it wasn't on. I remember my senior year of high school, I won some perfect attendance award. I was the only one in my graduating class. But I said I wasn't allowed to stay home, and I lived in this boring suburban town where I didn't have a car and there was nowhere for me to walk to. So I need my audience. I'll come into school and just annoy everyone there. And stay
Work
home.
a room.
Peter Wolfinger is tuning in. I love Peter's posts. I love Peter. He said White Castle drunk at 2 a.m. makes it come out both ends. You're right, Peter.
This is great. This went from celebration to talking about puking and shitting. We're talking about time I shit myself.
It's taking a hard turn.
I was driving on the Major Deegan.
We try to steer it in a certain way, but it always comes out some other way. Larry Arts, yes, he's our sponsor for... we were doing this for the Ambiance Salon. We love you, Larry. And you have another story, or Mandy have another story? Because I have one ready to go if you don't.
Go right ahead.
Okay, it has to do with my daughter again. When she was younger, when she was 12. And, the kid parties are a big deal. So we had her party at Qzar, and she invited all girls. And my...
Oh, wait, we got to time out. We got to tell people what Qzar is. That's laser tag, right?
Laser tag.
Laser tag.
Where you kill people with guns.
Nice.
But you pretend to.
Always been violent. Or you kill people with guns.
Yes. You pretend to kill people with guns. So my ex at the time invited his friend. I'm not going to say this friend's name. Nicest guy. He was a police officer, and he became a teacher because being a police officer was so hard for him that he gave it up and became a teacher. And I'm like, really, being a teacher is better than being a police officer? But I digress. Let's stick to the story. So he's like a marksman, and he has mad gun skills. And he was put on the team against my daughter, which was this very small team. And he's a
9-year-old birthday girl
right.
has to win, you asshole.
Right. So he didn't know that, and he just started shooting everybody. And he killed all of Alexis's friends and Alexis and won the game by far, even though there was only a handful of people on his team and Alexis's all-girl team.
Nice.
They were destroyed. And my daughter was like crying. She's like, he ruined my party.
It's nice to have a nice Columbine-themed birthday party for a child.
Hey, she picked it. She wanted it there. But it went awry.
A ringer.
Exactly. And he apologized. And then after you shoot everybody, you gather together to have pizza.
Nice.
He's like, I'm sorry, those coma lights went on, and I just got in the zone,
Right.
man.
He's like, the
instinct
instincts
took
kicked in, and I just had to nail all those little girls. And he shot all of them, and they lost the game big time. Not even by a little margin, but big time. And my daughter's very competitive, and she was really pissed. And she's like, "He ruined my party." And I was like, let's just try to calm down, And
they didn't even know who he was, right? Just some
some
random
guy,
man showed up,
some random man.
wiped them out.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that is correct.
We paid for 50 people. Yeah, your buddy can call.
Robin,
You could put him on the birthday girls team.
I didn't know he could. I forgot he was a police officer. And she had
doesn't see gender.
She already had right. She already had too many people on her team. So Robin says
he's got a gun with a scope.
Yeah, Robin says he sounds like my ex-husband too. Robin and I have a lot in common. Taz says she has to go. Oh, bye, Taz. We love you, Taz. She said, "Love you guys." Why is everybody leaving? We're not done yet. We're almost done. You can hang out for another 10 minutes.
They can't take your horrifying celebration stories.
Yeah,
I know. Hey, the Sweet
Poison
16
sandwiches.
one was good.
Well, that's what
That was,
stands out. The bad stuff is always
It's
what
true.
you remember.
It's true. I find like sometimes when people say to me, "What's the worst gig you've ever done?" and my head gets crowded with all these ones that I would love to bitch about. But when someone says, "Tell me about a really great one," I think, I don't know.
Right, it's the bad thing.
Yeah,
You especially. You told me you could have like a killer set, and you did one thing wrong, and then you'd obsess over the one thing you did wrong.
Yeah.
Instead of being like most of us,
Right.
I'd be happy if anybody laughed at any of my stuff, and
It's part of my policy of removing joy from my life. That no matter what happens, I focus on the most negative. I'm working on it. I am working on it. I have a team of professionals.
I do too.
Working on me.
I'm working
that.
on stuff too. And Mandy, say what you said about like at least you notice that something's wrong and you're trying to fix it.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, we were just talking about like being better as people. I was saying like the step number one is being aware that I want to be better and I'm working on it. Like the people that are like, "Oh, I'm fucking blazing saddles. I'm the fucking shit right now." You're like, I'm a little weird. You're just done.
Yeah.
You're just done. You're just static, and like, you know what I mean? Everyone like, I'm trying to learn more shit every day. I want to like. Everybody's a guru. Even the guy who's being an asshole and fucking up, I could learn from that guy.
Exactly. You learn not to do it.
That's exactly what I do not want to look like.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody's an example. But step one is having the awareness that I want to actually do something about it. Like, and not just be, because the world's changing every day. You can't just like you said, you got to go through your Twitter because is the shit even still relevant? That's the old you. Even
it's
your
true.
virtual footprint, like.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It's I think part of it is I'm really into that stuff, like self-help and maximizing performance and all that stuff. Not just to look for things that I can do, but I just find it really interesting.
Yeah.
But the idea of you always want to do things for a reason. You want to live with intention. You don't want to just kind of float around through life, because the odds that you'll mistakenly bump into a quality life are pretty low. I mean, if you don't know what you're aiming for, the chances of you stumbling upon it are almost nil, you know? But it is funny, you know, I with this Gutfeld thing coming up, I have a life coach that I talk to sometimes, Connie Enriquez, she's great.
Oh, I love her.
You know
We're going to
Connie,
get her on the show.
Yeah,
I'm going to get both
she's
of them.
Really good.
I
yeah,
love
her and
both
Chrissy,
of them.
They're a hoot.
I love them. They were scheduled to be on our show before COVID.
Yeah.
Then COVID hit and everything went down the drain.
Well,
but
Connie's
I'll get them
really
back.
good, and
I love both of them.
First session I did with her, when I was in the midst of my midlife crisis, like she clearly pointed out things that it's so funny because someone will point it out and you look at it and I would realize like, oh yeah, that's a thing that I do. That's not just the way the world is.
Yeah.
It's a reaction that I'm having. So I talked to her last week because I got a bunch of good shit coming in.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask her, like, how do I deal with good things? Because I know, like, if things are bad, I know how to brace myself. But I guess there's a difference between bracing and embracing. Like, what do you do when you have good, how do you look forward to things and not do that weird thing where you look at for the, like, what could go wrong or any of that stuff?
It's too good. 3 good things.
Yeah.
I'm on a roll. Something's bound to fucking, I'm going to get a flat tire. Something's going to happen.
And you got, like,
It's
the law of
because-
attraction
because
will
you
bring
started
bad
trying.
things to you.
Because in your who you are,
Yeah.
you feel you don't deserve it.
Right,
true.
right.
And
You're not ready for it
and
yet.
you do deserve it, but you just have to say to yourself, you know, through therapy, you
Yeah.
have to say, I do deserve it. Good things
Yeah.
should come to me. And like, I see my therapist once a week, and the stuff I talk about, it's just like, I probably blow her head off, but it's like it makes, like Mandy said, at least you're trying.
Yeah.
You're
and-
trying.
You're working toward it.
Yeah.
Because it's very similar in some ways to the coaching that I do with helping comics with their writing, because there are things that you can write, and when someone else looks at it, it's so obvious to them. Just move that here, cross that out. But when it's your own thing, when you're emotionally invested in it, it's very hard to see that.
Right.
And that's
Oh,
where I
yeah.
think getting that outside perspective, and then, like you said, I noticed when I started to work on stuff like this that there were things that made me unhappy that I just assumed were the nature of the universe. And then I was able to look at them and say, am I doing that thing that I do sometimes?
Yeah.
And then if you identify it, you can say, maybe we'll stop doing that.
Yeah, that's a pattern that I'm creating,
Yeah.
a little whirlpool that I'm sucking myself into.
Like people who always end up with the person who's bad for them.
Yeah,
And they
just don't
end
wanna
up with
be-
like that same person
Right,
over and
They're
over.
attracted to that shit.
Bonnie's making a face. You having a moment there, Bonnie?
Uh,
Relating,
Well,
maybe?
no, Bonnie's got a great guy, but
But you know what's so funny about, I love Michael, that's my boyfriend, but he's so, in many ways, he's very similar to my ex, and I'm very similar to his ex.
Well, people do have types.
It's almost like,
you do have a type.
like-
Like
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
yeah.
yeah.
We'll
I-
talk about this off air. No,
Yeah,
we're joking around.
Michael,
We love you.
yeah.
No, but no, it is. It's.
But even the way he drinks the Gatorade, and the way he drinks the Gatorade, like my
Wait,
boy-
flavor Gatorade.
he started doing like a dance because he would bring out the Gatorade because my ex drinks Gatorade, and he's like, I would be staring at him like, because that's what my ex did, and he's like, okay, I know you're thinking that your ex drank Gatorade, so I'm going to like do a little dance so that you don't think of me the same way that I'm
Okay.
drinking Gatorade.
Gatorade
Alright,
dance.
this is-
Well,
this is
because
where-
people do drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I think.
No, there's
Yeah.
more than that. There's a bunch of shit, and there's a bunch of shit that his ex-wife does that I do,
Yeah.
and he's like, "You're
Like,
just like my ex-wife.
she
You
brushes
blah
her
blah blah
teeth,
blah." You're,
wears
you know,
socks.
it's
It's impeccable.
it's really
the way you keep
insane.
inhaling and exhaling. I mean, what's going on here?
There's a lot of
Who
it's
sensed you?
But I can see that as if you're someone,
you're attracted to what you're
but
attracted
you're attracted
to.
to what you're attracted to, but also if you've had a bad experience, that you would be on guard for things that could be signs that
Yeah,
It
you're
was
like,
happening
Gatorade
Oh, yeah.
just
that have
might
nothing
be-
to do with it. You know what I'm
just
saying?
as
100%.
if you drink
Yeah.
Gatorade, you're just a piece of
100%.
shit. I love Gatorade.
now my boyfriend's like, I'm drinking now because
I think he's not
I'm
drinking
revealing
Gatorade.
too much
He's having
information.
a scotch. He's having a scotch and Gatorade.
Orange Gatorade reminds me of being sick because because my dad would drink only orange Gatorade, and like when we were sick as a little kid, my mom would be like, "Oh, this makes you feel better." But now, like an orange Gatorade, I like cannot drink it. Like it reminds me of like medicine. Like I haven't drank orange Gatorade in probably 25 years.
I won't drink tea because my mother forced me to drink tea when I was sick. Yeah. So I hate tea now because I associate it with sickness and forced drinking of tea.
Consumption. Yeah, my parents. Were you force fed Italian?
Oh my God!
It just was. Mr. DeVito, did they force feed you?
Mr. DeVito, I
remember one time my grandmother bringing over. We were at my grandmother's and we were eating lasagna, and the piece they give you is the size of a shoebox, and lasagna is probably the most calorie dense. So I love lasagna, and she went to give me more, and I said, "No, thank you, I'm full." And she was still coming toward me, and I remember I put my hand over my plate, and she just dumped it on my she just dumped it on my hand with the sauce. Like she was not to be stopped. But
Peter Wolfinger said, "I have an ex that wants me dead," and I think this is hilarious. It could be worse.
My mother's grandma nanny, they said when she was giving you mashed potatoes, when you said stop, like if you say no, you got one. So when you say stop, she always gave you one extra. So if you wanted like two, you say stop at one because you always get a extra.
Yeah. It's like it's a conversion rate that you have to factor in.
Yeah, the grandma.
Yeah.
The grandma rate. Yeah, because so you were saying you do Zoom on Sundays now. Is that
a family
Zoom? Yeah, do family Zoom.
Italian tradition alive. You guys.
You should record it. That would probably get 1 million hits.
You need some waivers.
Yeah,
you gotta get the permission.
Time my sister was recording it.
Oh,
and I was like,
I don't know how.
That red light?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but I guess before I logged on, she was asking my parents some stuff about how they met, and she wanted to record that. So I was like, right, that's a good idea.
Like a time capsule.
Yeah, because it goes to show all these things that I thought about doing before the pandemic that I thought, I have plenty of, I wanted to sit down with some cameras and interview my parents. And now it's, I better get on that pretty quick, thank God they're healthy and they're getting through this. But it's funny doing the Zoom with my parents because my dad now thinks he knows technology. And I had to tell them, could you not sit with a giant picture window behind you because the sunlight at 1 p.m. on Sundays, you look like goat. And, then you're seeing their heads are cut off and stuff. But they're getting better. But my father, he does this thing where he'll hear about a certain piece of technology and he'll get fascinated with the phrase, and then he'll keep working it into conversations. Because someone told him, he calls me up and he goes, "Have you ever heard of something called a thumb drive?" And I said, "Yeah, what could you do with a thumb drive?" And he said, "Well, it's got a USB port, and you could put pictures on it."
What's scary is I don't know what a thumb drive is.
It's a little drive. I'm showing with a thumb, but it can be shaped like you plug it in. It's a memory. It's a portable memory thing. Mm-hmm. I swear, for about a year, my father, no matter what we were talking about, he was like, "Could you put that on a thumb drive?" I was like, I suppose you could.
Always trying to technical. Yes, Dad. Yeah. We could put it on a thumb drive.
You should be happy that they can answer that.
They're good.
Like my dad, my sister bought him a prepaid phone for 1 year, a cell phone, and he couldn't handle it. He's 92, so he has the old-fashioned long cord,
like a flip phone.
No, the long cord phone in the wall.
Oh, the landline.
The landline.
Oh, okay.
So he has the landline, and that's how he answers his phone calls. And if sometimes he forgets to hang up. And if he forgets to hang up, all we get is a busy signal. But the good thing is I only live 15 minutes away.
Oh, so you mean okay, because I find with my parents the most informative part of the conversation is when we say goodbye, and before they hang up, the two of them review what we talked about.
and you can hear everything.
I hear them, and I hear a couple of seconds of the real feelings on things.
It's like the when you get the extended on a DVD, the extended.
It's the director's commentary track. Yeah, a couple of extras, little bonuses. Yeah.
They actually were not. They didn't seem good. I said I liked that haircut, but she did not look good.
Didn't like his skin
who
tone.
knows what? My dad is always very, very positive person.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that's the good
great.
thing. He's so different than most people. He'll see me, and he has a touch of dementia now.
Okay.
So he doesn't remember what he said like 5 minutes ago, but he's always complimenting me.
Well, that's
so
nice.
He'll tell me great things, and then like a minute or two will go by, and he'll tell me the great things again. Bonnie, you raise a family. You have autistic children. You take care of your autistic brother. You come and you help me. You're the best thing. You had a teaching career, blah, blah, blah. And then 5 minutes later, something goes by, and he starts again telling me, like, and I could say, Dad, you just said that. But I'm like, you know what? I like to hear it.
That's great.
Say it again.
I'll take it on.
That's like listening to one of those motivational
Yes.
recordings where it just plays over and
it's
over.
so awesome.
Yeah.
And I love to do things for him because he's so appreciative.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
Where some people are just not appreciative of anything that you do for them. He's very appreciative and very generous. And I feel like I take after him.
Yeah.
In my personality and whatever. And I'm very grateful that he's still alive. I thank God. I'm like every day, like, please. And he hasn't gotten the vaccine. And I don't want him to, but my sister wants him to. So it's like a whole thing going on there.
Yeah, 92, you have to weigh the chance of the vaccines are getting pretty good reviews. My folks got the second shot, so they're both good.
And they're good?
They're good. Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Because my brother-in-law is a doctor, and he's my dad's healthcare proxy. So he's going to make the decision. My decision doesn't matter. And I'm nervous, but if I have no say in it, if anything goes wrong, I wasn't the one that killed them. So anyway, getting back to celebrations, and it is kind of time to wrap up the show, right?
Okay.
Because we went 10 minutes over, and we're 10 minutes over. And Joe, thank you for coming all the way from.
Sure, my pleasure.
Joe, anything else you want to tell us about?
Yeah, tell us about anything you want to plug.
Joe DeVito Comedy.
At Joe DeVito Comedy on social media before I have to delete my accounts for the Human Resources Department. I'll say this, that the Dry Bar special that I did on YouTube is closing in on 2 million views just on YouTube, and I think it's at 3.5 million on Facebook. So that's been pretty cool. That's been nice.
I love that special. I watched it from beginning to end.
Yeah, I'm
so
happy with
fucking
how it
funny.
came out.
And to watch him in person, you've got to watch him in person. Are you going to be?
Things are opening up now. I got some gigs scheduled. I got
you are a
something
10
in New
out of
Jersey
10
next
on
week.
stand up.
Or next month rather. Thank you, Bonnie.
No, that's I wouldn't. I say the truth. It gets me in trouble, but that's my opinion. I
think back again. We talk about gratitude, and I think of all those those packed houses that I look at them now, and I think, wow, if we could just go back, I would have appreciated it more. But I'm glad you got to look forward, and I see things are opening up again, and the business is going to be different. But I realize that I'm so, it's like a blessing to be able to have as a career, or even just a avocation to go up and make people laugh.
Yes.
How much that
you
means
help
to me.
so many people.
Yeah.
You have no
It's
no
pretty
idea.
Wild. I think of the times that, sometimes people come up to you after shows and they tell you they're going through some rough patch, and we comics, we tend to think like, did this joke work? We get very, very insular. We too into our own heads. So I'm looking forward to that. It's crazy to think, I have to update my schedule now. I got to go into my little Google Calendar and put things there.
I've been pinning stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. It's fun.
Yeah.
Your mom is saying Joe's great. Listen to his dentist comedy, hilarious. Not only his dentist comedy, everything about his stand-up is funny. Even your new stuff, I thought it was really funny about the gun.
Oh yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was like everything he does. Just follow him.
I didn't want to come out of this experience and just go back to telling pre-2020 jokes. It would have seemed weird to me.
Yeah. No, you evolved.
You're keeping up with the times.
You gotta adapt and
to.
overcome. Like everyone's like, even the cancel culture and all this stuff. It's a joke, and it is. But as we move through time, every day we've been creating history, and every day things have been changing.
You're a new person.
And every time things are literally the cells in your body fucking change, and you're.
What do they say? Every 7 years, you're completely replaced. Everything.
New allergies and stuff. Like, it really is wild when you think about it. And if you just are if you don't just want to be a static person, you want to be better than who you were yesterday. You know, you can't lose.
Patty Marie loves you. She says
she
you're hysterical. If
That's
you
my
won
aunt.
over Patty Marie, then you are the fucking bomb.
I didn't know she was such a tough
yeah,
audience.
she's
there.
a tough critic.
Patty Marie. I love Patty Marie. Yes, you know.
Oh, and my Aunt Nora's watching too. These are all my aunts. Everybody's saying great show. Nancy Weems.
Thank you, David Lange. Thank you.
Colonel.
Thank you. Do you want to plug anything?
I would say just go to YouTube. I tracked the numbers. It looks like I'm on pace to hit 2 million in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna put it right on the Calamity.
Share the show, everybody.
Yeah,
please.
share the show.
We are so lucky that Joe was kind enough to come and be on our show tonight.
Yeah.
We are so, you know, it's like we were talking about birthday celebrations. For me, the best thing is having Joe on my show because I think he's a number 10 out of 10 in stand-up. And on the Greg Gutfeld show, which I love, he's going to be doing more and more and be more involved in that. And I just thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate it. And happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Another year older and none the wiser.
That's just the way to do it.
We're going nowhere fast and downhill. But
happy birthday to Robin DeVito this week.
Robin, we're going.
Birthday to Bonnie.
Yeah, Robin and I are going to be at Street Fighter on the 27th. We're hanging out with my new partner at Coasters, Will Romero, which we changed the start date of April 1st for personal reasons. But Coasters is going to be having an open mic starring me and Will called the Jutino because I'm Jewish and he's Latino. And we are still arguing over what the new start date will be. But we will broadcast that next Wednesday.
Yes.
Who is our guest next Wednesday?
We are with, I really think it's Larry and,
so our sponsors.
Larry and Lori.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, seriously, thank you, Joe. Guys, we're going to
share Joe DeVito, the best stand-up comedian
online.
On Long Island and possibly
the Earth.
The Earth. Yes, the Earth. Norma Fernan says, great show. Nancy Weems said, shared. Please share the show. Thank you. Everybody share the show. I'm not good at sharing, so share it for us. Thank you so much, everybody. We will see you next week.
Be good.
Bye, everybody.